Austin and myself, Lee Diffie. We're ready to go with the 3 semi-finals in the women's 800, and we were just talking in the break, folks. This is going to be brutal. This is going to be brutally tough as far as who makes it and who doesn't, because all 3 semi-finals are star-studded, as you would expect, at a World Championships. Let's start with Team USA's Ajay Wilson,
who's having a spectacular season, won her first global title, won the indoor championships, and what I loved was how she competed at the U.S. Nationals. She really brought it to a mode, looking like she's ready to get another medal here at the World Championships.
And here is Kenya's Mora, who is the national champion for Kenya at both 400 and 800. She's run 157.4 for a personal best this year about a month ago.
Talk about a hot heat also in this race is Gemma Ricci, who was only 900th of a second out of a medal in Tokyo. Trains with Laura Muir, who already has a bronze medal from these championships in the 1500 meters. And she has been looking really, really good. I've been watching her social, and she's having a lot of fun. I always say when you're light and having fun, you're ready to do great things on the track as well.
Saw that with Noah Lyles, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. And Gemma, interestingly, after her heat, she said, look, I felt I ran really smoothly. I've just got to get myself to do that again to make the final.
And let's go back a little bit to Ajay Wilson. You'll remember that at Nationals, when we saw her in New York, as she gets that nice ovation from the home fans, she reminded us that part of the reason why she's made the change in tactics and she doesn't always go to the front is because she knows that at this level, this is improv. It's not scripted.
Yeah.
Things happen in an 800-meter race that you have to respond to. And if you only know how to respond from one position, that's not ideal. So I think there's a much better chance of seeing Ajay in the final and being a contender for the top of the podium because of these changes that she has made in her tactics. She's now 28 years old. Seems like she's been running for such a long time. She went pro straight out of high school.
And Ajay has said that this semi-final is going to be like a final. She is sensing that everybody's just going to be going for it hard.
It is. Nobody in this 8 can hold back anything unless something happens and they have a great day and they have a ton of cushion between them and everybody else.
You talk to most elite athletes, sometimes the semifinals is harder than the finals.
First of 3 women's 800-meter semifinals, here we go. Ajay Wilson in the middle of your screen.
It'll be interesting to see how Ajay sets this race up. We've been talking about it all year. She used to always go straight to the front no matter who was in the heat, no matter how the race was going, she would want to be at the front of the pack. Now, she's fine with that. Did you see how she just created space for herself? She seems so confident no matter where she ends up in the first part.
The lead right here.
And Addo, the Kenyan, said after her heat, look, I can be faster, but this is my first 800 at a World Championship, so I was a little bit nervous. I was taking it all in, and now I'll feel better in the semi-final. She leads the way coming up to the halfway point.
Man, this is a stacked semi-final because Lamotte of France looked so good in the heats. And here she is second. Marat will lead at the bell.
Herring of Germany, the taller athlete in a yellow top. Lamotte, Ajay Wilson is in the mix. Butterworth of Canada is there 7, and let's not forget about Gemma Ricci on the inside.
That's a great start for the women. They're at under a minute, 59 seconds for 400 meters, but they're still really close together. Mora, who has been leading this from the very beginning, is still pushing the pace and trying to separate a little bit.
Lamotte of France in the white top, and then on the outside you can just see her. Here comes Ajay Wilson.
I like where she is because we know she can kick. She has room in front of her. She just has to watch on the inside. That's a Lemu who could box her in if she gets past her shoulder.
Only the top 2 go through on auto qualify, and everybody else has to rely on time. It's going to come down to a sprint here. Ajay Wilson finds some clear space, pulls up alongside Mora. It's Kenya and USA. Gemma Ricci is struggling. Here comes Jamaica. Ricci is out. Mora and Wilson are through, and Jamaica comes through on the inside with a Tracy with a fantastic finish. Mora wins with Wilson and then Tracy. So the top 2 go straight through.
Marat has just been lights out through these rounds, and now she's won this very difficult semifinal. Ajay Wilson is comfortably into the final in 2nd, but that's the only automatic qualifiers from this semi.
Sonia, did you like the way that Ajay Wilson found her own space. She got through.
That's exactly what she did. You mentioned it right when it was possible. She could have gotten boxed in, but she came out perfectly and forced the competitors to go out. But Mara looked phenomenal. She actually won the 400 and the 800 at the Kenyan Championships. And right when I thought Ajay was going to overtake her, you saw Ajay really go to her arm. She actually opened up her hands like sprinters do. Ajay went to that speed, but Mara had more in the tank and was able to really own this first semifinal heat. A great run for the young Kenyan. They're only 22 years old. Fantastic for her, but happy to see Ajay through with an automatic qualifier. She didn't wait too late. She moved at the right times and secured her spot.
Atto, Ajay is rooming with Shamir Little, who made the spirits and encouraged her to do well.
Of course, when your roommate makes the final, you're like, hey, me too.
So the first of three women's 800 meter series, Lewis, and the first Team USA member through, Ajay Wilson.
All right, Ajay, we're thinking back to earlier this season where you practiced from racing from the front, mid-pack. How did all of that experience help you out today?
I learned how to be patient, find openings. I feel like tactically tried to make sure I was never in a bad position, and I'm glad to get the auto cue.
Can you help our audience understand how challenging or difficult a semi-final is just to get yourself to the final?
Yeah, you have to look at it as a final because you know, you kind of think about your next race, saving your legs, but it doesn't make any sense if you don't make it there. So I think we all go into this thinking that this might be our last round, so we run it like it is.
All right, Ajay, thank you.
Thanks.
Fight and fight hard to make that final, and that's what Neptune, New Jersey's Ajay Wilson has just done. Straight through on the auto qualifier. So Gemma Riki, 25-year-old American Raven Rogers, will be one of the featured athletes in this second semi-final of the women's 800 meters. Guys, she had to scrap and fight. She got obstructed twice yesterday in her heat, and she described it as frustrating.
Yeah, I don't say it. This is improv. You never know what's going to happen, but she said she was ready for that. Talk about being on your home track. This woman has won 5 national titles for the University of Oregon. She's also an Olympic bronze medalist, world silver medalist, has had so much success, and says she's still learning this event. She's changed coaches, she's changed strategies, and she's really running strong, but she's so dangerous in a final if she makes it.
And here's Great Britain's Keely Hodgkinson, the second teenager across the line in the Tokyo Olympic final. Athing Mo of the United States was the first. She's the British record holder in this event at 1:55.88. She set that, getting that silver behind Athing Mo.
That big roar, by the way, just then was for Raven Rogers. Understandably so. Here is Freweni Hailu of Ethiopia. Expect Hailu to be in the mix.
And she also ran the 1500 at these World Championships and got 4th, 6 seconds behind Lauren Muir. So she is doing double duty here, the 21-year-old from Ethiopia.
Everywhere you look, there's somebody to talk about, like Natoya Gould of Jamaica. This is Australia's Katrina Bissett, who's got a story to tell, because she was running well in her heat yesterday, but then went down hard, and the referees took a hard look at it, and they felt as though that she was brought down. She got spiked the inside of one of her thighs when the referees and officials said, we're going to put her through to the semi.
And this is her very first time getting out of the heats at either a World Championships or an Olympic Games.
Don't discount Poland's Anna Wilgosz either. She's been running well.
And you mentioned Natoya Gould. She's a Jamaican national record holder indoor and out at 800 meters, competed for LSU. Really tough at this level.
Same parameters, only the top 2 athletes go automatically through to tomorrow's final, and straight away, Raven Rogers of the US off to a good start.
Yeah, I feel like Raven Rogers is not going to want to leave it late after what happened to her in the heat, where she really had to claw herself back into the semifinal round. So she's asserted herself well around the first turn, and now they come for the inside with Baker of Team GBR settling behind Bissett.
You two were incredibly tough competitors when you were competing, when you were on the world stage. Raven Rogers said yesterday it was, yes, I was angry and frustrated by being obstructed, but she said it was more me against me. It was a mental challenge yesterday to make sure I made it rather than a physical challenge.
Yeah, that's right, and that's what major competitions are. It's not much about the physical, you've done all the work. It's about your mental preparedness and mental toughness, and she showed that yesterday. But look at Basset Otto in her first semifinal. She is off to a great first 400. 47. That's 2 seconds fast. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the open 400. That was 2 seconds faster than the first semifinal heat.
So it's almost as though Bissett has said, I'm in my first semifinal. I am going to go for broke. I don't think she can hold this lead. And now here comes the pack. Reality bites.
Keely Hodgkinson, the Olympic silver medalist, Natoya Gould of Jamaica, and on the outside of her is Raven Rogers. Only the top two go through.
Yeah, this is going to be a rush to a finish because there's about 4 or 5 women now lining up for this final 100, with only the top two making it. Raven Rogers has to pass one person.
Here we go. This is when she's good. This is the kick that we've come to know from Raven Rogers. She's going to have to dig deep. She's going to have to go for it. The crowd are going to lift her. Has Raven Rogers got enough time? It looks like it, but it's going to be close. Keely Hodgkinson gets it. Natoya Gould is going to deny Raven Rogers. Jamaica gets through ahead. Rogers will have to rely on time.
The good news is this is a fast semifinal, and Raven Rogers just ran a sub-2. So we will see if her time will qualify her. But you know that could not have been the plan for Raven to come out here and be outside of those auto top 2 qualifiers.
What great running by all the women in this heat, and when it separated, the top 3 looked phenomenal. And Natoya Gould there, perfect final 100 there, and hung on for an automatic qualifier, which is what you want to do in these semis.
And this is so significant for Natoya Gould because so often she would be the one getting passed and bumped out of that auto qualifying spot. Today she holds her poise and her nerve, and she needed it because as they came off the turn, you see where Gould was challenging for the lead, and everybody knows in this building that Raven Rogers is money up the home straightaway, but it wasn't enough today.
Did she use too much yesterday just to get to this point? And for the Jamaican veteran, she said, I'm going to have to run basically a personal best to make the final, and she almost did.
Look at the look on Natoya Gould's face. That is a look of terror and focus. I'm in, though, she says as she crossed the line.
Okay, so Raven Rogers is going to have to live a nervous moment and rely on her time. What's she got to say, Lewis?
We'll find out. Raven, after a challenging first round, what was your plan for the semifinal?
Be aggressive. Stay in it. Give myself a chance.
And what are your thoughts now of having to wait on time at home where you really want to do well here?
I mean, regardless, I gave it my best. Round by round, so we'll just see.
We'll wait and see on time. Thank you.
Thanks.
She gave it her best. She most certainly did. And now she will sit and watch her teammate Athing Mo in this third and final semi, and she will be looking nervously at the clock. So in this one, you've got
up and down these stairs than you did on that treadmill.
You look like Natoya Gould coming to the line.
Oh, wow. It be your own people.
And this young lady didn't look all that impressed, but it was all in the good spirit. And did you let her know that you're a world champion? Did you let her know that at least?
She was born when I was world champion. She don't care.
Athing Mo, here she is. And we probably should stress one little footnote. She has not lost an outdoor race at any distance since September of 2019.
She's only 17 years old, Lee. It's just been unbelievable what this young woman has been able to accomplish and what she is attempting to do here. She's already Olympic champion, and she goes to become world champion at just 20 years old, and I don't see anybody standing in her way. She left Tokyo with 2 gold medals, 1 in this event, 1 on the 4x4 relay, and that's what makes her so good in this event, is how much speed she has at 400 and how much strength she has, because, I mean, I'm sure if she wanted to, she could go up to 1500 and run very well, too. She's just a once-in-a-lifetime kind of talent.
And what is she trying to do, guys? Become the first American woman to win the 800 at the World Championships. That's all.
She knows how to get to the front. So too does this young lady as well. This is Nakai of Uganda.
And these two getting very familiar with each other. Nakai and Mo, they were in the same heat, and now here they are in the same semifinal. She's the defending champion, winning one of just 2 medals for Uganda at these World Championships, and the country's first World 800-meter medal, men or women. Well, Teji, is in lane 5. She made her Olympic debut in Tokyo, where she competed in the 1500 and didn't get as far as, didn't get further than the heats, I should say.
So, the full lane allocation there, but this is going to be a very easy focal point. This race is going to come down to Mo and Nakai of Uganda.
And we saw it in the heats. I think Mo gets to the front. That's where she likes to run from, and she would try to stay there.
Final semi-final of the women's 800 meters. Athing Mo, the 20-year-old from New Jersey. She was asked yesterday, did you know that Nakai was coming up the inside? She said, yeah, at the end.
World champion is not Olympic champion. Tanya knows that. She's both.
There's just something about her. She has this incredible confidence about her, but still just so humble, modest. But like you said, Lee, when she steps on the track, she is all business. She's right on the outside there, not at the very front, but in perfect position to be able to strike whenever she needs to.
Horvat of Slovenia in the bright green top, as well Teji of Ethiopia leads the way. Alex Bell of Team Great Britain is in there. She is number 2. And then Nakai back a little further, but Nakai is a good finisher. Bello of Italy in the mix as well.
You know what else Nakai is good at? Making space for herself through the middle of 800-meter cell.
She's got sharp elbows.
You can barely see her because of how short she is, but you see how her arms flail? When she tries to make room, usually room gets made.
She does not mind getting physical, to say the least.
So now Athing Mo and Walteji have separated from the rest of this field, and if Walteji thinks she's going to outkick Mo down this backstretch, that's not going to happen, but I don't think Athing has gone to her jets just yet.
This was the fastest first 400 of all the heats, and surprisingly, Nakai is not up there with these two as they're beginning and continue to separate from the pack.
She's looking to find a way through that, but she's run out of gas.
Yeah,
Nakai is out of gas.
She's boxed in. There's nowhere for Nakai to go. She's not going to make it.
Not at all. Look at the separation. Well, Teji of Ethiopia, she competed in Tokyo last year, but in the 1500, and she didn't make it through beyond the heat stage. So, top 2 go through, and it's going to be another victory for us. There is the defending world champion, Nakai, out.
Wow. We told you that the semifinal round was tough. How about the defending champ in 8th and out of these 800-meter rounds?
So, while Nakai is out, I can tell you that Raven Rogers is in on time.
Which means all 3 Americans advance to the final. That's a huge deal for Team USA, a big turnaround. They have never had a world champion in this event, and now they have 3 women through to the final. What great progress they have made. You know what else I gotta say I loved about this heat was Athing Mo. She always wins.
Yeah.
She could have got off the gas. There was 50 meters between her and second place. But no matter what, she is gonna cross that finish line first.
What do you always say about winning?
It's a habit, and you always want to do it when you can.
Well, think about the psychological sledgehammer that it is.
Yes.
To the rivals.
Yes.
Right?
Because she's still relaxed and still able to keep you at bay when she's coming in the final phases of the race. I mean, they both could have backed off a little bit.
So let's look at it again, Sonia, because you made the point yesterday, and you're right, that when Athing Mo goes to her real speed, that her hands come up, and we saw them as high as shoulder height. You can't tell, but this is actually the home straightaway. Does she look like she's pushing? No.
Not yet.
She is way off the power there and still is able to win this semifinal in 1:58.1. So the Olympic champion looking like she has a very good shot at becoming America's very first world champion in this event. But a lot of women with some other thoughts waiting for her in the final as well.
Athing Mo has some big career goals. She's already got Olympic gold, a couple of them to that point, but she wants a world championship. She wants a world record in this. Then she wants to do it in the 400. So there is no stopping the 20-year-old Athing Mo, and she has stopped now, though. She's with Lewis Johnson.
She is right here. I think we continue to be amazed by the effortless poise that you have. I'm sure you don't get tired of hearing that, but seriously, give us your thoughts on how you were preparing for this race, your execution. How much of an effort were you giving?
I mean, today I feel like I just came in here with a even more peaceful mindset than yesterday, just because I kind of knocked the first round out, and this round just all about making it to the finals. And I knew I was ready for it to be a fast pace. I was ready for me to take it out, but say all the time, I'm going to run the race how it's more beneficial to me. So if, not taking the lead was what was best for me, that's exactly what happened today, and came home with the win again.
All right, thank you.
Not a problem.
And hardly out of breath. A thing, Mo. She is something else, and you will